Well, that does it for Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 6. Anxiety up the wazoo for the entire
Mm-hmm.
episode. I think it was a really good episode overall.
Yep.
Like Fist's crash out didn't happen until the very, very end with Matt pushing his final buttons. Just waiting and waiting for him to just do something like even more devious the entire episode. It was just everybody else was just crashing out. Butt fists to the very, very bitter end. Um, Charles is in for a world of hurt. Man is playing with fire. BB, she played with fire, got burned. Has to be one of like come on, bro. Come on, bro. What do we like? How many days have passed since you've had the flash drive in your pocket and did the BB report that utilized the flash drive, right?
At least
Um,
48 hours. It
at
has to have been at
least.
least 48 hours from Vanessa, the boxing ring, Vanessa's surgery, which would be the next day,
Yeah.
Vanessa dying that day. So that's a whole 24 hours to setting up the funeral. That has to be
The funeral
another 24 hours. So yeah,
and
at most
yeah.
48 to 72, like two or 2 or 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah. Like at least, right? Like how is it still in your pocket after like also airing like one of her those reports as well? And then it's like to me like that right there just shows how incompetent BB is. It's like the all logic has just gone out the window once the vengeance path came for her, and it's like, hey, I'm just gonna keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's like, hey, the person you're pushing against, you're putting them in danger, you're putting yourself in danger, but you don't see it, or I don't understand the logic anymore
Like
for her.
there's a part of me that gets it, right? You're a journalist, you want to get the truth out, especially in times like this.
Yeah.
So you have to push to get all the information you can, get the truth out, continue to get the information to the resistance and, push back against what you're being forced to do with the propaganda of the BB report. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I get the tenacity. I get that she's also trying to fill the shoes of her uncle. What's
Mhm.
happening here is the lack of experience
Mhm.
that is really tripping her up. Um, there's a part of me that's like, I can understand how you don't put your hands in your jacket pocket sometimes to check, but I'm always checking my pockets. Like, you know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah.
it's been a crazy 3 days. So there's a part of me that's like, I can't fully blame her for not checking her pockets, but for that to be the smoking gun, that really just annoys the fuck out of me. Since last episode, yeah, last episode is when she met Daniel at the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the Vanessa episode. Uh, it's yeah, it's truly the lack of experience because she truly is doing too much. And I'm not saying that there aren't adult journalists who don't kind of run along the same path that she is,
Mhm.
but like you said, she's pushing and she's pushing without thinking of the consequences. It's all about getting the information instead of knowing how to play it cool. And this is where we're at. This is where we're at. It's like, girl, you know the fire that you're playing with,
Yeah.
right? So you keep pushing and pushing your friend to take a look at the fire that's happening. I get it, but you know how bad people have gotten burned by this fire. But you just keep touching it just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit without thinking, shit, my writing hand's gonna burn the fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, girl, it's it really is truly a lot and very agitating to watch this play out because yeah, Daniel just going, "Look, you're putting us both in danger. I can't even protect you anymore. I warned
Mhm.
you, I warned you, I warned you. I can't protect you anymore. You know you have been telling me about the guys I've been fucking with,
Yeah.
and now look, you're in the line of sight of the guys that you warned me about. What are
Yeah.
we supposed to do now? What are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
It's,
And she's like, protect me from what? From him. Like,
but girl, yeah, like girl,
yeah,
you
you
like
like
it's so stupid.
legitimately,
From
yeah.
what? What do you mean from what? You've been warning him about this. You've been warning him about Buck. You've been warning him about all this stuff. What do you mean from what? You know exactly who he's been protecting you from. Like
Yeah.
it really is that thing of that we when we talk about Daniel that people underestimate him.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. He's like that normal hang around guy, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, in time with experience and even age. And funny thing, we were talking about not underestimating. Like one of my mottos in life is you don't underestimate people.
Yeah.
When you go into certain situations. But I know I'm at least a cool 10 years older than BB, right?
Mm.
So it's just like it's because he's so good natured, because of his face, because he's charming, because you think he's just a regular guy from the block, and it's just like you're also just a regular girl from the block. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Oh, it's just it's so yeah, it's watching that happen. And again, I support her for trying to do her part. I understand trying to play both sides to get the information and get the truth out. I respect I that there's like that true level of respect I have for this character for
Mm-hmm.
doing that and sticking to her guns, like truly. But it really is about how you play these situations. She just does not know how to play the game.
Yeah.
And it's
Unfortunately for her,
very
yeah.
difficult to let someone that you respect what they're doing continue to burn themselves.
Yeah.
True. Oh God, it's just too much. It's just too much. It's just too much. And I guess funny maybe that parallels Matt. The
Yeah.
fire you're playing with. And look, I feel him. I understand having a code. I do. But to question everyone else's willingness to do what he
Mm-hmm.
wants to, um, is ridiculous. Um,
Yeah. It's one of
our
those
trauma
superhero tropes. Yeah.
Right, yeah, our trauma shape us. We spent all last season with Matt's trauma of Foggy dying, shaping him, his relationship with Heather, his relationship with himself, his relationship with Daredevil, his relationship with Frank and Karen. We saw that. He changed. He changed. He became a different person.
Yeah.
All his traumas influenced the man he is, have made him become Daredevil, right?
Yeah.
Right? Jessica's traumas have shaped her to become the woman that she is. It's like for you to go, "Who are you?" to Karen, it's like, "Bro, what do you mean? What do you mean? I had to leave New York. I had to leave New York for
Yeah.
all you assholes to pull me back in. Did that me leaving New York cure the situation? No,
Nope.
but I wasn't even like I wasn't here. I was gone. It's so infuriating because I feel like I I guess I have a relatability to Karen in a way that, you know, you do start out with hopes and dreams and a slight naivete for changing the world for the better. And it's that thing of when you've gone through so much and then you start reacting,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that people aren't used to, in a way that understanding and empathy can no longer sustain you.
Yeah.
People are like, "What's your problem?" It's like, "Bro, you guys pushed me to this point. What do you mean, what's my problem?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
can't smile. I can't smile my way through this. What am
Her
I
crash out
can't
was
keep smile."
valid.
Truly valid, truly, truly, truly valid. And it's like, I even understand Frank, right? I
Yeah.
get it. You want to seek revenge for the loss that you suffered, right?
Yeah.
And I understand now for some people looking at him not wanting to reach that level of extremes because he is the extreme, right? I think right now we're at like if we're doing a spectrum kind of thing, um it would be Matt, I would say Karen and Karen then Jessica, or maybe Jessica then Karen,
Yeah.
and then Punisher, and then interweaving other these other street level heroes here and there.
Yeah.
because everyone's been through some shit. Um, for our Netflix crew. Uh, it's just like, yeah, it's just we've been joking this whole season and even last season that Matt may not kill you, but he does. The way he ends you is by putting you in severe medical debt,
Yep.
right? So it's like, where you're gonna wish you're dead, or paralyzes you or hurts you in ways that, you know, makes you want to not be here anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, I also again understand there are levels to this thing. I understand having a code, right? I have a personal code, but I also get how trauma shapes and changes the code that you live by.
Yeah.
We're not all the same. Everyone is different. I get that, but I cannot stomach when someone questions someone else that's been pushed too far.
Yeah.
Like, you want me to take care of the guy that killed our best friend, and her questioning, I shouldn't have, like, whether or not I should have stopped you to kill of killing Fisk. It's that thing that we're always talking about, and I talk about this in a lot of other stuff. Villains don't have a stopgap.
No.
Right. Villains the majority of them tend to not have a stopgap, right? What makes heroes and villains different is that there is a stopgap for most heroes,
Yeah.
right? Or otherwise we're getting into anti-hero territory. Um and that's what makes these stories compelling, right? How can you beat the guy who will not stop if you yourself are able to stop? So
Hmm.
that we swing back around to the confrontation at the end with Fisk and Matt trying to appeal to his better nature at the most inappropriate time, but it also feels like Matt grasping at straws, trying to understand, like, trying to come to terms with, is Karen right? Like, am I gonna have to die or is Fisk gonna have to die? Because he's not stopping.
Hmm.
And I think he knows going in, there's nothing he can offer this man who just lost his wife, right?
Yeah.
Who lost his anchor to stop. It doesn't matter if it's about New York or not. It's about ego, it's about power.
Yeah.
And Matt's not willing to get as dirty as Fisk. And this is, where we have this problem in a lot of cape or hero media. It's personally where I have a problem in my real life, right? And how far am I willing to go to get to the level of people who have hurt me or abused me or betrayed me? Where do I walk away? Do I turn the other cheek? Do I give them a taste of their medicine? What is the right call here? And we never really know until we make a decision. And even then, half the time we're living with some of us live with the regret of whichever decision we make. It's tough. It's a morality play. Um, but watching Fisk the entire time maintain his silence, right? Because even in speaking with the doctor, there's a couple whimpers. At Vanessa's casket, he whispers something to her, but it's like not audible. He doesn't talk to Charles, he doesn't talk to Buck, he doesn't talk to anyone at the viewing, nothing. The first words he utters are to Matt.
Yeah. This is the least he's spoken
Yeah,
all series.
yeah. Um, and it shows just how intertwined the two of them are. Um, and the destruction of the painting is like meant for the storytelling aspect of it, and from the first season it getting the blood of Vanessa's former lover on it, them eating dinner in front of it, her selling it to him, it appearing in the original Netflix series, to the crash out being, well, she's gone, the painting's got to go, I'm no longer the man I was while owning this. Like,
Yeah.
it's muddying up the entire time, right? So even like when he throws Matt, I forget how the sequence goes 100%, but
He throws
I,
Matt
I
into the
forget if
painting.
it he throws Matt into the painting, and then so there's the blood spatter from the guy that he has in
Mm-hmm.
prison, and then he mirrors the blood spatter going the other way from punching Matt in the face. So it's done. It's
Yeah.
completely done.
And it's ripped up.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, and to note too what Bullseye says to Karen, right? She that Vanessa opened the window. It pretty again. It's a life for a life. It was my life for Foggy's, right? and he's like appealing to he's on a suicide mission at this point, right? Or, it's that villain thing of
Mhm.
how far can I tempt you to get down to my level because I see it in you, right? Of, a life for a life. My life for Foggy's, um, and then yeah, both ways, right? Foggy's for my life,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So make a choice. I personally, like I said, if Karen wasn't going to shoot him in the head, I probably would have shot him in the shoulder. Matt stopping her again is him just trying to, killing people does change you. Karen notes that. She
Mhm.
killed Wesley. She says, I live with this every day, but if you're not gonna do it, I've done it already. I'm willing to take this burden for you. And he's just trying to hold on to whatever little bit of good soul he perceives that she has in her. I personally think she still has a good soul. There is
Mhm.
no muddy. It's a different soul, definitely. Trauma does that to you. The decisions you make in trauma will do that to you. But it's also that thing of, like she says, it was my life or his. And it's that fight that, a lot of people who suffer abuse, but women who suffer abuse and fight back against their abuser or someone who's hurting them. Well, you should have turned the other cheek, or you got to get over it at some point, or you have to work through it. And it's just like, bro, that's not how this works. I didn't want to die. I still don't want to die. That doesn't mean, like, I'm going to keep letting people get away with shit. Like, well, you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have protected yourself. Well, what am I supposed to do? Well, like,
Yeah.
stop trying to stop me from protecting myself. Stop trying to stop me from getting my just dues. Enough. Um, yeah, it's a lot happening in this episode, and it's like just thinking of Jessica and her journey too, and spoilers for Jessica Jones, but her killing the Purple Man in her season and getting her get back after all the abuse she suffered at his hands, right? And all the traumas that she's been through to finally, you know, I'm trying to remember exactly how the fallout happened in Defenders and in Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, but like to finally move away from the city, you have your home, your white picket fence, you're trying to keep your daughter safe. And, whoever she's alluding to for people who, went to, I'm assuming it's the guy that wanted Simon in Wonder Man, like that task force, so to speak.
Department
Um,
of Damage
yeah,
Control,
there
stuff
we
like
go.
that. Yeah.
Um, it makes me wonder if it was Danny or if it was Trish, or I mean, I think Trish was in the arc, but it makes me wonder if like Trish cut a deal or if Luke cut a deal or if Colleen cut a deal. I don't think Misty would have, but like for the people that she's run into, maybe I can't remember if Typhoid Mary died in one of the seasons, but it's like who cut the deal? Who decided that, they'd rather work with the system than away or against the system. And yeah, I truly like that we got that aspect of this is a woman who's trying to give her daughter everything she didn't have and trying to do her best for her daughter. Only, we see a lot of those stories, right? The hero or the villain or the mobster or whoever walks away and tries to give their kid the things they didn't have or make sure that that world doesn't touch them only for that world to eventually touch them, right? Um I like yeah, seeing Jessica back and, again, I have off-base knowledge of Jessica Jones as a whole. I'm mostly a Jessica Jones watcher. Like I'm
Mhm.
I'm anime only, not not manga. Right? When it comes to Jessica Jones. I know a little bit of her lore. Like I said, I know about Danielle. I know about Luke. I know about friendships. I know about certain things. I know about Alias. I know about her friendship with Peter Parker. So I know like things here and there, but haven't read a Jessica Jones story in an extremely long time. But you know, I don't know if that's the thing that happened after she had her daughter, where her powers go in and out. At this point, she's a mutant because when
Mhm.
you're born of a superpowered individual and you're just cellularly different,
Mhm.
yeah, so hey, introduction of more mutants though, even though like I don't know if she's classified as that in the comics, but it would be the same thing like Franklin Richards, and I don't care about that fucking recent retcon. Franklin is a mutant. Yeah, he's born of Sue and Reed, two people whose DNA were changed by the on that outer space adventure when they got hit by cosmic rays. Um, no need. Sorry, I was started almost singing the song, but like, yeah. And then Franklin is born. Franklin is a mutant. I would assume it's the same for Danny. Yeah, it was great seeing her back. I think like, to me, this episode was great because I got to see a lot of ladies, and that always makes me happy. And then, but it also just makes me miss like She-Hulk and Miss Marvel, a lot. Makes me miss all my girly pops, and I really want them back in the MCU. And it's one of those things where I'm watching this, I'm like, if we're gonna continue with Daredevil, it's we could definitely bring back all the street level heroes. We could bring back Cloak and Dagger. We could bring back the Runaways. We could get, Miss Marvel. If we saw her dad last season, we could get Kamala in on this, even though she might be out in space with Carol. Um, I know Monica is not Monica. By the new binary. Fuck. The one who's in WandaVision. I know she's in an alternate universe right now, and they're gonna reintroduce her. But yeah, to me, this is the perfect vehicle to just have these characters pop back in and out, and it would just make me so happy. I mean, if we're not gonna give everyone their own shows, then just use this as the Heroes for Hire. That would be great. Or Defender season 2. I love the Defenders. Defender season 2. Um, yeah, it was really great seeing Jessica back and her kicking ass. That made me so happy. That's probably my favorite scene in the entire series thus far. Um, Having the vigil at City Hall and that video message going out, and then having the task force attack, basically they're peacefully protesting. They're not attacking anyone. They're chanting. They have their signs up. They're being a bit rowdy, but no one is like harming anyone. And this mirrors, our actual real life experience and things that are going on a daily here in the real world. Um, and that really gave me pause and really made me, think a lot about how these people abuse their power so nonchalantly to get their rocks off. Yeah, it's that was a tough watch, and it feels like it really is only gonna get worse from here. Especially with whatever happens after this fight with Fisk and Matt. Heather and Buck, that was crazy. Another person having a crash out. And I think I mentioned that in last episode that I kind of saw that coming because she was very much idolizing Vanessa and saw Vanessa as a mentor and as a support system. And that now that lack of support system is gone, and taking mementos. And I understand, like, it's so weird, right? So even though I was making a joke about it, because it is it is really funny to have to do that at someone's funeral in someone else's
Mhm.
bedroom, but it's also understanding that sometimes you have to do the physical act of like working through your trauma to get through your trauma. She's been pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. So, you know, her having someone who is willing to allow her to express what she's feeling in a physical manner, who can take it. I know for some people that helps. There are healthier ways. She's just not coping. And you would
Mhm.
think as someone in her line of work would know that, but it's also when you have your own traumas, you don't listen to your own advice.
Mhm.
And it's hard to see the road clearly when, your eyes are fogged or glazed over. Um, and we already saw the spiral of her just taking the job anyway was going to be it was just the start of her spiraling mental state. And I feel for her, even though I've talked about her initial bias going in when discussing the vigilantes and how she felt about all that. She went through a lot. She was assaulted, she was held captive, she was mutilated, she was choked, she was physically abused, all for the pleasure of someone else. And like Karen, it was either Muse or her,
Mhm.
and she made a decision. And I will, no matter how much I don't like this character, I support her decision in protecting herself in that moment. Full stop. Um, yeah, it's watching Heather and Karen go through this, go through these similar traumas, right? That Matt and, let's say, Buck haven't gone through. Not saying that Buck hasn't gone through something, not saying that Matt hasn't gone through something, not saying that even Fisk hasn't gone through his own bullshit. But like it's just very interesting to watch those two and where it's going to lead them and what each of them are trying to do with their pain and trauma. Whereas one is fighting on the side of resistance, the other one is fighting with and supporting the system that is, oppressing people. Yeah, so I think, it's very fascinating to watch that. Um, if like you said, if Karen doesn't become the next Punisher, right? And Heather doesn't become the next Muse, that's gonna be, I'm very interested to see what kind of catharsis there is at the end of the season, if there is one.
I have
Um,
a prediction, but
okay.
I'll save it for yeah. Yeah.
Alright. Right. So yeah, Buck and Daniel, Matt, Karen, Heather, Fisk, Buck. Oh yeah, Buck really confronting Daniel with everything we've been saying. This, like, yeah, this was the price of admission, buddy. Now
Yeah.
you're in on it. There, you can't quit now. You're ours now. Yeah, watching that, the conversation with the governor and Sheila. Um, and Buck having that conversation with the other gentleman about, basically him, that other guy wanting a seat at the table. I don't know if
Hmm.
he wanted to run for senator or governor or mayor or whatever, but you know, the governor pushing Sheila to get into office. It's all very, there's a lot of gender dynamics also happening in this episode too, with how these men are dealing with their trauma versus how these women are dealing with their trauma in this very chaotic, tense, anxiety-ridden situation.
Hmm.
Um, so I do wonder what the outcome is of that. Charles really pushing it, but like I get it too. That's what his character is. When you are in bed with the government, especially this side of the government, if you don't play by their rules, they're gonna make sure you play by their rules.
Hmm.
They have their hands in all pots. Um, whether it's, whether at the end of it it works out in their favor or not, this government, that the government manipulates things so that they come out on top either way, right? And it's really Fisk, them coming into contact with a guy who, like Charles, and the government working with a guy who has, I don't want I there's a part of me that's like it's delusions of grandeur, but honestly I think Fisk could achieve anything he wants to achieve. um but it's a whole bunch of egos trying to vie for the number one spot, and it's all about backing and support. And as of right now, Fish just doesn't have as much support as the government, right?
Hmm.
um because all Charles has to do is, he's got blackmail or whatever he's got on the governor, and be like, all right, so now we're definitely in bed together. You don't want, Fisk betrayed me. I'm sure he's not saying that. He has something I want. You want
Right.
him out. So yeah, this is what we're gonna do. So that's always like fascinating to watch, to see how it plays out. Yeah, I think that's it. Everyone had a crush on this episode. I think even Matt had some internal crush outs. I hope Javi is okay. That would suck that you know, yeah, that would just suck. But it really is just one of those bystanders that are casualties of this kind of bullshit. I mean, like I said, we are witness to this every day, on our phones, in our news. This is an everyday occurrence for us. So the Daredevil taking the opportunity to mirror what this type of fascism looks like, and how it's taking a toll on the community. Um, I think it's important, but, it's coming from Disney, so, like I've been saying the whole time, I am side-eyeing it because Disney and Marvel do have their hands in a couple pots that, you know and they did fire a bunch of people recently, so a lot of people lost their jobs. So, really, it's very, like, uh what's happening there? Oh, I do wanna say, I know you didn't watch Andor, and I don't know if anyone who's watching our Daredevil videos is into Star Wars as well and watch Andor, but that scene there at the end reminded me of, that similar scene that happened in the last season of Andor where there was a culling of peaceful protesters and of a community that was fighting against, the empire. So to have that, I think within a span of a couple years, in media that I enjoy and that I take part in is very, like, it gives me it does, even though I side eye it because of who it's coming from, or at least the companies that it's coming from, um, it does give me hope that our media is telling these stories so that people can ingest them and hopefully take them on board, and it shine hopefully they see that the mirror is shining or reflecting what's happening around us, and that the audience starts taking this stuff seriously. Um, and hopefully it inspires people who didn't want to rebel or resist or fight back to want to do that. Because this kind of oppression, of fascism, of of abuse and violence comes for all of us. Um, Even if you're just standing there. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah, I think, like, this was a great episode. Um, I know we're getting Daredevil Born Again season 3. Michael Coulter released a behind the scenes photo of him and this dude that plays Danny and of Kristen, Jessica Jones, last week or something like that. So we know that Danny and Luke are coming back at some point. My question will always be, Danny's not Iron Fist anymore. Please do not
Mhm.
retcon that he is Iron Fist again, because if you're going to do that, we have to see Colleen and why they would decide to take away those abilities from Colleen. Colleen is the Iron Fist, so not having um her back, and yeah, I will have a lot to say if that's the case.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so to tack on, I have a prediction,
Okay.
and you ain't gonna like it.
Okay.
You're not gonna like it.
Okay.
I think, given where the episode ended with Karen,
Mhm.
I think Karen is most likely going to die.
Okay.
Um,
Oh God, if we fridge another woman,
the now,
I'm flipping the table. I'm flipping the
yeah.
table.
Now, I preface this because I was surprised when Foggy died so early in season one, right? And I
Mhm.
remember saying this in our season one. I'm gonna bring it back up. Foggy in the comics, right, has had he's had near deaths, he's had fake deaths, and he has had a real death, and then he got brought back through some mystical BS.
Mhm. Mhm.
Karen dies in the comic and has
Mhm.
never been brought back.
Mhm.
So, but the thing with Karen dying in the comic is she was killed by Bullseye.
Mhm.
So I'm very interested to see exactly what they're going to do with this Karen's character in Bullseye, being that Bullseye one is not dead. Bullseye two is currently on the same side as Karen, so they're weaving a whole
Mhm.
new different story. But they also do pick and choose when they want to borrow things
From the comics, yeah.
from the comics. And being that Karen is here, and where that the Punisher special is going to land, because the Punisher special is landing pretty much between season 2 and 3 of Born Again.
Two and three, and whatever happens in the next Spider-Man movie.
Yes, yes. So it's dire straits. There's only 2 episodes left. There's a big shebang that's going to happen. You would expect for a season finale. I've just always been afraid for Karen because of the comic and knowing that she does
Mm-hmm.
die in the comic. And it's a matter
Yeah.
of how
God.
how they do it once again because um is sacrificing Karen who is it going to propel because like is it going to propel Matt to finally kill somebody? No. Well, that's also remains to be seen because I was trying to double check something else, but that would be like I mean, well, that's comic spoilers and whatnot. Um and but yeah, like I mean, like even with the comic spoiler of Karen dying, right? That's excuse me. Even with that, like it's not like they pull directly, because they already played around with Foggy and how they've already done that. So
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, but
yeah,
with the first season of Born Again, the first draft of it was Karen and Foggy weren't even involved in the show. They
yes,
had written them out. And it if it wasn't for the pushback and for how that
mm-hmm,
half of the initial season was tested, I don't think they would have brought Karen and Foggy back at all. I think it would have just been like that's it. Foggy dying in the first episode, I think was just a way to write them out the show while bringing them back.
yeah,
I think I discussed that last season. Um, and yeah, even interviews have come out that people on the production crew and directors and writers of the first season were like, yeah, it was a hodgepodge, it was a mess. So I think everyone they're trying to clean it up. So, but if Karen does in fact bite the dust,
yeah,
this season, that's going to really agitate me. Because that would be the second fridging of a woman in one season. Um, that would be insane. That would
yeah.
really be insane. That would really be
Because
insane.
Daredevil Matt would have to kill because
Mm,
like so that people understand like Daredevil has killed people whether he hasn't
right.
intentionally meant to kill people, but it's happened accidentally. It's happened, it's
Mm,
happened, yeah, like that has happened before, but the whole thing is because of his Catholic upbringing and his moral codes. He hasn't intentionally decided that, hey, I'm going to end you, right?
right.
Because he's like in comics, he calls people to have I think it was the Fixer, he calls them to have like a heart attack. He's caused a couple of other like characters to get like to die. I know
Mm,
he shot like a helicopter, and obviously the pilot, I mean, helicopters just blow up, so you kill him, these people
right.
die, right? So
Right.
it's more so if Karen dies, is that the straw that broke the camel's back that says that, well, you know, Fist no longer has his little canary to rely on. Vanessa's gone, so he's just gonna crash out, return
Mm,
to the who he was beforehand, or a newer version of who he was beforehand, right? Oh, and if Karen dies, does this finally break all the seals and Daredevil just goes and I'm just gonna murk somebody of my own
mm,
accord against all my morals because Karen says she grew up and now it's time for me to grow up as well, right?
mm,
And is it Bullseye pulling the trigger, doing it?
mm,
Like that's what I'm interested to see, like, cause they've kept Karen around for a long time. The a major death was Vanessa, and we're talking about this is
mm,
after what, technically 5 seasons, more so like 4, because she did appear in the original. And now that Vanessa is gone, so Karen has been integral in Daredevil, integral in the Punisher. She's been in, she in Spider Man? I can't remember. There
no,
was there was there was some other series.
I think it was just Matt.
Just Matt, right? Yeah. So she's been integral in 7 to 8 seasons worth of Marvel TV. Um, will there be a send off? Like that's what I'm interested in seeing. Because now she's been caught by the task force. Um, And so when I saw that, that's what gave me like some pause, because I was just like, ooh, I thought we were gonna be safe for Karen.
No,
Um,
as soon as they ripped that wig off, and I knew
yeah,
as soon as she was like off on the side, I was like, yeah, Karen's getting caught. I
yeah,
was like, I thought maybe she would have caught that she was the one that would have caught the bullet because she's just out there.
yeah,
But yeah, as soon as that wig came off, I was like, oh well, yeah,
yeah,
here we go.
yeah. And this is now with 2 episodes left. If you're thinking about maximum pain, maximum ratings and writing and whatnot, even trying to, like, you cannot, I don't think writing wise we can do another open-ended cliffhanger. Is she dead, is she not dead? I think if you're going to kill her, you just do it, right? But you have to, the stakes have to be absolute. It's one of the same thing with Vanessa, like, what is going to happen that, like, from Vanessa's death, what's going to happen, who is going to be the biggest benefactors of it, right? Because right now it's still the jury's out, right? Fisk, last person to crash out. Daniel is under immense pressure because of this. I mean, hey, it's kind of fucked that your birthday is on the funeral.
Right.
It's kind of
Right.
fucked.
Well,
Yeah,
but nobody
yeah.
planned it that
No
way.
one, no one planned it, but
Right.
I mean, yo, Marvel, it's kind of fucked. Like, to put him in this position, and with Buck and everything. So um, you know, we'll see what happens. That's what I'm looking at, and I'm keeping an eye on. And then, yeah, just Heather, just mentioning her, her unraveling. It just seems that not this season, but next season she'll have a much bigger role to play.
Mm.
Whatever her metamorphosis is going to be by the end of this season, hopefully we see it in these next 2 episodes, so we have more leeway to go along with. But yeah, she's slowly but surely losing herself. I would have expected by the end of the season for her to know that Matt is Daredevil.
Mhm.
And I'm surprised that trigger hasn't been pulled yet. So I think that trigger could still be pulled this season. The question now for me is just whether or not she does become Muse. Angela, I mean, we'll see what happens with her. Um, yeah, we'll see what happens with her. Since she's now just running off, trying to get help for Javi. And I guess, yeah, I guess that's okay. Yeah, I just saw the freezing on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess with that said, that's pretty much it. I'll leave it off there, and folks, we will catch you guys next week for more Daredevil Born Again. So
Mhm.
stay tuned for sure. I already know. Doses.